A-Day is completed, and whether you call it a game, a practice, an event, or whatever, we got to talk about it. We're going to discuss the things that stuck out to us. The new format, will it be the future of the format for A-Day going forward, and plenty of other things post A-Day. Let's get into all those different things right now. War Eagle, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about the Auburn experience. That Auburn experience is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. It's orange and blue. It's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing this afternoon after A-Day. We're all done, packed up, ready to roll. Actually, if you are here for the weekend, you know that there is plenty more to do and more to get excited about. So I hope that you guys stuck around, for those of you that came to A-Day weekend. But our focus and our goal here today is to do reaction to what we think we just saw. Let me acknowledge right up there in this side, I guess, up here on our screen, you'll notice that it says post-game reaction. We recognize this was not a game, although there were some game-ish elements at the end of practice. We can talk about that a little bit, but we want to hear from you. What did you think about it? Those of you that were able to attend, what stuck out to you? What didn't? Are there any takeaways? All of those things. I'll share some of mine. Would love to hear from you. What are you guys seeing online? And maybe we can hash those things out a little bit. This is just an initial reaction after Auburn's post-game, post-practice, post-event for A-Day. As you come into the stream, though, do us a huge favor, and you can do this on the replay too. Make sure you smash that like button. It is a huge help to us. Lets people know that we're live. Lets people know that they should take part in the stream. So we'd love to hear from you this afternoon, especially if you're watching live, but let us know that you checked into on the replay. You can, as I said, smash that like button. So let me open up before we start taking some comments and questions about what I always say about A-Days, regardless of whether it's a game, regardless of whether it's a practice. Talking about practice, you should not be walking away from A-Day with any major conclusive evidence statements that this is what this is going to mean for the fall of 2025, or in any A-Day weekend, any A-Day game practice. Should not be walking away from spring practice with your hopes too high, your lows too low, anything in between. None of that should be happening. But we can certainly talk about what we saw, things that were interesting, things that maybe stuck out a little bit more, and some news from the event today. So let me start there with you guys to start off with, and we'll take some questions too and some comments. The big story today probably was Jackson Arnold did not participate in the practice. Now, it's a little bit scary given what's happening with Nico, whatever his name is, over at Tennessee. But no, this was strictly an injury sustained in Thursday's practice. And he was not able to go today, in the sense that they did not want to risk him for any other aggravation of a leg. I think it was maybe a hamstring issue, something like that. So obviously, that's a disappointing factor about this. If you were someone that was looking forward to seeing what Jackson Arnold can do in a public setting, not just a practice and snippets and propaganda setting, what he can do in front of a crowd here at Auburn, that's disappointing. However, what that meant for you, if you were here today, you got to see Deuce Knight a lot. And I do mean a lot. Honestly, more than I think we would have gotten to see him had Jackson Arnold participated. So it's kind of one of those things that you're like, hey, I would love to see who a lot of people believe is going to be the starting quarterback throw a little bit more. I see a couple other people saying that, wish he threw a little. But you got to be careful. But on the flip side, you got to see Deuce Knight more, which was kind of fun, actually, to see what the kid can do in the early stages of his Auburn football career. Now, as history was talking about a second ago, wish he had thrown a little bit. Certainly, obviously, it feels like, oh, he's throwing. What does it mean? No, you need your whole body, you need your legs, your plant foot, all that stuff to throw properly to make great throws. So certainly, you don't want to risk that, or just somebody slipping and falling on that leg in the middle of a pile, because while they were not live with the quarterbacks, they were allowing the pocket to crash around them a little bit. So you want to be very, very careful. And it's obviously a very understandable situation. It's just a shame we didn't get to see that in that. He also says, wish we got to see a game, but I understand they didn't want to increase risk of injury. One of the big things for this A-Day, before we even got to the practice, it's going to take a while to not say A-Day game, is that there were a lot of people being held out of spring altogether because of lingering injuries, because of trying to heal up. And so that's one of the dynamics that's here with this changing world of, do you do a spring game? Do you do a spring practice, really? Or do you do summer practices? Hugh Freeze has offered a lot of different opinions about that. So it's a changing world in college football, but it's also a changing world in the dynamics of spring games and spring events. My hope is that we can find a balance somewhere in between, because weekends like this are extremely important for Auburn University, Auburn, the town, this part of the world, and commerce and stuff. I'm getting on my soapbox a little bit. You'll hear it tomorrow on the Auburn Experience podcast, I'm sure, for me and Austin both. But I hope that we can continue going forward with this. Okay. Let's see what some of the questions were, and we can jump in here. Devin said, hello. I listened to Brad and Andy on the radio. I do wish they had done an 8-day game, but at least they had something for the fans. And certainly I think they did a good job of marrying the fan event with the practice event. So it didn't feel like you got gypped even as a free event. It was worth coming today. And can I just say, if you haven't watched our replay, we have the live stream available for you on YouTube of Tiger Walk, but also we've got the video out on Facebook. I think you need to go watch it. It was an outstanding crowd at Tiger Walk. I thought, after, I believe it was last year, we had the poor weather, or maybe the year before that. Either way, this was an outstanding crowd for Tiger Walk. And I think the crowd of fans inside, given probably a little bit of disinterest this year because of it not having a game, was pretty commendable as well. Now you factor in the fan event. Certainly that helps a lot too. So I just want to give that kudos to the fan base and all of that stuff. Devin asked, what was the reason they canceled the spring game? I know they talked about it already. I know we've talked about it already, but I've been out of the loop a little bit. It's not just one reason. It's several things. It's about injury management, I think, more specifically for Auburn, but I also think it's about, you don't want to show too much because of this whole weird transfer portal and people leaving and things like that. So it can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. Let's see. Tiger Walk cut out at 4 minutes. Is it available on replay? I haven't gone and checked yet, so I wasn't aware of that. But I will tell you that there's a different version of it, same location, filmed on Facebook, if that's helpful. But definitely go check that out. Obviously, as we always remind you guys, that our live streams are on campus are signal dependent. We do our best to get that out to you. Okay, let's dive into what we think we saw a little bit today. I want to stress this about, in general, I've already said it about spring games. Don't take any big takeaways from this. But for those of you that had convinced yourself that Deuce Knight was going to be the savior of Auburn football right away, I think you need to cool the jets a little bit. That is not saying that he had a bad day. I think he had a freshman day, a freshman phenom day. I think he had some outstanding throws. We saw a few of those. I think he showed, even with not being live, that his athleticism is clearly there. So all the things that we thought we knew about him coming out of high school are true, but he's still a freshman. I think I saw at least 2 picks today. One was by Eric Winters, I think. Can't remember what the other one was, but one was maybe a tip, but still put it in I think a little bit high situation for the wide receiver, and thus the tip and thus the interception. So freshman mistakes. He's got still ways to go, but he's out there, and you got to be excited for him having the opportunity to play more. Coach even talked a little bit about Jackson Arnold too, even though he didn't get to play today. Those two being the main 2 quarterbacks. There were others that got to participate today. I think Josh Colvin was the other one that got to throw a lot, 16. Their arms are probably tired. Their arms are probably very tired. They're probably just tired in general, but those are good reps. Those are good. So it's kind of this thing. Yeah, there's some disappointing elements to the spring event, who we did and didn't get to see. But at the same time, there's some good that can come out of it, of more reps for those two guys who are going to likely be the two candidates right now. Ashton Daniels is set to come in the summer, to compete for whatever he can in terms of time. Certainly he'll be behind the 8 ball a little bit, especially now since these guys have been here working in the system for a little bit. But these were the ones that everybody expected right now to be the starters for things. Asking about spots that we have left on offense. I'll be honest with you. We don't spend a lot of time worrying about the transfer portal speculation here. Now, when people commit, we will certainly talk about them and dive into that a little bit. But there's really no point in my opinion of us obsessing about visits and things like that. Just focus on who is here currently right now. If you go and look at a lot of reports today, and I probably would agree with this too, Perry Thompson had a great day, and that's a great sign for a lot of people who were wondering, will we get to see Perry Thompson more this year? Cam, Malcolm really made themselves known last year. Will Perry Thompson get to play a little bit more? And certainly it seemed like he had a lot of highlights. Again, remember, folks, we're seeing a practice against each other, mostly live and mostly, full speed. It's not 100% full speed. It's much different going against real competition, but certainly, he showed some flashes today, which is a very, very encouraging sign. I believe Coach, on a previous press conference, I haven't taken a look at the one today yet, has talked about him still needing to learn some nuances of playing the wide receiver role in this particular system. And the talent, though, is starting to show out a little bit, it seems like. So we could be getting ready to see the rise of that full wide receiver room, not just Cam, not just Malcolm, but also it seems like we might be getting closer to Perry Thompson getting some more time. Unbeaten Lake, of course, never letting propaganda dissuade him one way or the other. We are winning the championship after what I saw. Certainly, it's a good day to be back in Jordan-Hare, and it makes us feel positive just to see the guys out there running, throwing, things like that. I'm not going to say that I'm the best analyzer of certain elements of the game, but it just felt like to me when they went live with the running plays, a lot of the time the defensive line and linebackers, the front 7 to 8, dominated. Now, I don't know if that's the defensive line, front 7 is that good. The offensive line is still struggling, a mixture of the two, just a bad day, good day for one of the others. But that was just something that stuck out to me that I found very interesting. And let me just tell you, Coach Vontrell King-Williams, for being such a big guy, boy can motor and boy can get hype out there on the field. Love watching him coach the guys up. He had to separate two guys at one point that were real jawing at each other. Obviously got into a little bit of a whatever in the pile. And just watching him manhandle the two of them and just separate those two large humans, him being a large human, was pretty interesting as well. We saw Mason Murphy, I think, working at tackle today. I saw that reported. If that's interesting to anybody, I'm not sure how many offensive linemen were out. I think Coach mentioned like 2 major ones earlier in spring. Who knows what else happened? But that's the ones off the top of my head that I can remember right there. So he's kind of confirming what I said. I think it was 2 starters that were out right now. And certainly there's bodies that are still not here yet across all positions that are going to be arriving in the spring to complete the team, and who knows what else in the transfer portal. Kicking, we saw kicks from Towns Magoo, from all the kickers, really, from Alex McPherson. I forget which one kicked the 50+ yarder and just hit the crossbar. It was almost bounced into on the crossbar. But the kicking seemed to be pretty solid today. Honestly, I'm shocked that I don't recall seeing a lot of the punting from Hudson Cack, as I call him, which is weird. You would think that I would have noticed that. Maybe I was running to get a hot dog during that moment because I was starving out here. So there we are. Clay, I think you're either being funny or you are behind the 8 ball, sir. Just giving you a little bit of fun love there. There was no A-Day game. There was no score. This was a practice. Maybe he was being funny, but the score was 100-100 Auburn. Auburn won, in case you're wondering. We beat ourselves and we lost to ourselves, I guess, is what the way you want to go about thinking about it. Okay, let me think through some of the other things. If there's anything that you guys saw talked about on social media that I haven't covered that you'd like to, Cam Coleman had some good moments today, but that's no shocker there. Eric Winters, I think, had one of the picks today, which was right over the middle of the end zone off of Deuce Knight. That was obviously good and bad to see. You feel weird cheering for your quarterback to get intercepted, but that's the nature of spring games and 8As and playing against each other and things like that. We talked about run game. Got to see Alvin Henderson motor a little bit. Love to see him run. You can definitely understand why the coaches were so high on him and why a lot of other teams were high on him as well as the recruiting process got along. So love seeing him run out there a lot today. Today was really a day of just getting to settle back and not worry so much about position battles and things like, just to see all the different guys running out there. I think I saw Dylan Gentry, backup wide receiver, make a good play today. I'm trying to rack my brain for anything else. I think that's the majority of it, hitting the topic of Jackson Arnold not participating today. Don't freak out. It's precautionary. Deuce Knight getting to play a lot more, good and bad from that. Alvin Henderson looked pretty good running the ball to me. When it did look good running the ball. And the defensive line front seven seemed to do really good in some of the live portions of the show. I'm very happy that Coach Hugh Freeze gave us some live portions, and I knew he probably would, but that climax of the event made it feel a little bit more fun than like it traditionally would. And we ended with a 2-point conversion situation, which was fine. It wasn't a lot of fireworks. I think they converted like 2 of them. One, though, would have been great. And I forget who it was to. In the back of the end zone, Deuce almost hit someone like in the back corner. That was really good. Yeah, Rodney, if you missed it, we field goal kickers looked pretty good today. I forget who it was. Maybe it was McPherson. Kicked like a 50-plus yarder and just hit the crossbar. It was somebody, obviously. But I think they made all their kicks other than that were part of a live portion or part of a drive portion of the game. So there you go. That's the majority. If you've got any final things focusing solely on A-Day, the event, the game, the way it was handled, or the changes of it, please bring that up. We'll use that to round out our conversation today. And we'll certainly give you some more feedback on that if there's anything that we haven't talked about yet with A-Day event, because this is our reaction show. A couple things for you. First of all, how does the sound? Let me know. This is a new, we're changing things up. Y'all already commented that I look like I'm a kidnapper or something with the black curtains and stuff like that. May be able to do it with the microphone going forward, not just doing it in like speaking to the camera and to the computer. Let me know if it sounds great. There we go. So we're testing some things out maybe for next season to see how this might work out. We're starting to get in the flow of things. Other than that, a little bit of housekeeping. The rest of the housekeeping will remind you of what we've got left this weekend. I'm still on campus, folks. So you need to be following on social media. We got a lot of stuff going on. Go and watch Tiger Walk if you haven't. We got the live stream portion on YouTube. Go see if it got the whole thing. Apparently there may be some part of it missing, but the full video in a different format is on Facebook if you want to watch it there. It was a great A-Day today. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Fans really showed up and showed out. Don't forget, tomorrow, the Auburn Experience episode 121. At this current time, we are scheduled to do that at now 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 Eastern, from the Alumni Center, which is the Auburn Alumni Center right there on College Street, overlooking, well, essentially the library, but you can see the stadium in the background. We're going to attempt another live stream from there for episode 121. We're going to talk about sports, culture, and family, a lot of A-Day talk, discussions, things like that. A-Day, the weekend, the event, the practice, all those different things, and plenty of Auburn potpourri. Don't miss it with Austin and myself live from Auburn Alumni Center. It's going to be a lot of fun, so hopefully you guys will be there. And if you're in town, you could stop by. You might even get on. You might even get on the show. You never know. Okay. What else? Anything else to talk about? Certainly, if there's any interest in the autograph session, Devin said something. Saw some people say the autograph portion today was not handled well. Were you there for that? Yes, we put out some stuff on social media from that, and we'll put out some more later. I'd be curious what they said, if it was just someone ranting, it wasn't handled well, or they actually gave some specifics. because I feel like I hear that every year. It can be the best handled event, and somebody will complain about it because they didn't get the specific person they wanted. That's usually what's going on there. To be honest, I feel like it went great. The lines were very long at the start, but I walked out with about 20 minutes left, and the lines, all of them, Aubie, Hugh Freeze, were very reasonable. Now, they were very long to start off the day, very long, as they always are. But I think that's more so what happens there sometimes. Eh, I think also you may have some frustrations that On to Victory people were let in before everybody else, but that's what they pay for, all that kind of stuff. So to me, I found nothing out of whack, nothing done. It seemed like everything was prepared well. It's also probably the one negative of doing it in the stadium, like they traditionally used to do, is the fact that there are so few places to enter onto the field. So yes, that may have been part of it. That's my guess. Some of that disgruntledness you're hearing about is they didn't get the particular person they wanted. Players are supposed to be out there the whole time, but their families are there too, so they might step away from the table for a little bit to say hello to them. They're giving their time to you all, so that's very understandable. Somebody may have been back in the training room getting taped up or re-untaped or whatever, or didn't worked on. So there's any number of things that could have gone wrong, but I think it went really well, to be honest with you. They said they had to choose between autographs from Aubie or the players, and they didn't allow time for both. The lines were cut off 45 minutes before the end. That's just what one person said. I didn't notice that, and I did laps the entire time. It seemed like everything was pretty well done. I think that's probably someone that's making a lot of assumptions here, that's looking for something to complain about, and did. So you're never going to please anybody, but I think it was done really well. Okay. In summary, Jackson Arnold did not play today. He's fine. Precautionary. You got to see more Deuce Knight. He's a freshman phenom, keyword of phenom and freshman, making some freshman mistakes, but still look good out there. There were some great plays by the defense, especially today on the run game, some interceptions. Kicking looked pretty solid all the way around. So it was honestly a very productive and I think worthwhile event today at A-Day to come and see for yourselves. Coach D-Rock says some of the things that I saw, I'm pretty impressed. And as we always say, be happy about what you saw, but also take into account that we have still a long way to go to the season. And this is the last time that fans will get to see the team publicly in Under Armour uniforms, as far as we know, but July 1st, that all changes. So, you know what I didn't do? I'm so mad at myself. I meant to go get one last picture of the Under Armour logo on the banner inside, and I didn't do it. Anyway, all right, folks, I got to go. There's plenty more on A-Day weekend. You guys go check out all the content on social media. Plenty of stuff out there. Live from Alumni Center tomorrow is the plan at 5 Central Time, podcast recording. Stop by and say hello if you can from about 5 to 6. We'd love to see you there. But thank you for hanging out with me today and participating and being part of our little family within the Auburn family to talk about post A-Day reaction stuff. Till we talk to you again, War Eagle.